For whatever reason, using my voice, telling stories, spreading the message of my experience, what I've been through, what's worked for me in the ever unfolding process of coming back to self, coming into balance, finding equilibrium in my life. I have always felt compelled to use my words. And that was very much present during my football career. I was always the guy that the media team was asking to do interviews. Um, and it wasn't ever something I really thought about. It was just say the thing that's happening inside of me.
Yeah.
Speak the truth of what's going on in here, which I guess in our culture we call that vulnerability. We call that sensitivity. And that's really where the rubber meets the road of what people connect to in all storytelling. Like the best storytelling, it's vulnerable, it's sensitive, it's open, it's honest, it's real. And we have this interesting innate thing inside of us that can tell the difference between authentic and inauthentic or genuine and disingenuous communication or storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
When someone is putting on a show or putting on trying to be something that they're not, it's something's wrong about it. We know right away.
Yeah.
We can't exactly tell what that is, but we know that it sounds phony. And for whatever reason, I just always naturally had this compulsion to share the truth of what's happening inside of me. Not really by choice, not really by any conscious consideration, but literally just because that's all that makes sense to me. And so coming out of my football career, we'll actually back up my second year in Jacksonville playing for the Jaguars. I dislocated my shoulder, had to have season ending shoulder surgery. I was doing a charity event at my mom's yoga studio in Jacksonville Beach that I helped her open. We did a little charity event there, and the music director of the local NPR station came by. I don't exactly know how he got there, to be honest, but we became really good friends. And he said, "Hey, man, why don't you come by the studio?" The NPR station was literally right across the street from the Jags football facility. He said, "Why don't you come by the station, bring some music? We'll do a little interview. I'll play your music. We'll talk about your charity event, and I'll just show you around. You might dig it." So I went there. I brought a whole playlist of music. We jammed out for a while, had a ball. I loved the being in this little recording cave, the super dope little studio at the big NPR building in Jacksonville, right on the river. Um, Hanging out with my dude Dave Luckin, the creative director, music director of NPR. He's probably still that. And by the end of the show, he said, "Hey, I'm looking to fill. I got a bunch of slots to fill. Would you want your own show? You could do whatever you want." And I said, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I'd love to do that. That would be amazing." So the number 73 was born. That was my first radio show ever. It was a late night um, jam session on NPR, uh, WJCT, NPR, Jacksonville, Florida. And I would put together playlists of music around a theme: the desert, dreams, love, all sorts of things. And I'd make a playlist, and I would pair the music with readings of poetry, literary excerpts, anything I could find. And I would make this a themed show out of it. It was super fun. I fell in love with it. I'd go in there a couple times a week, and I was on IR at the time, so I had a lot of time to burn. So I would go into the studio late at night or early in the morning, and I'd record my show. And I just fell in love with the medium of radio, of using my voice, of podcasting. I mean, at that time, Joe Rogan, there was like maybe 3 podcasts around. Now there's millions,
Yeah.
And so that was my first foray into the world of using my voice through the audio medium, of getting some sort of message out there, some sort of art in the form of my words, in the form of music, and in that vein out into the world. And I really love doing that. And so, and then another kind of weird side note, but I've thought about this a handful of times lately, is at one point in my football career, I was really down in the dumps, suffering severe cognitive decline due to all the subconcussive hits. I was in a brain fog, a lot of depression, and I started taking Adderall. And Adderall really lifted me up out of these clouds. And it lifted me up so much. It in many ways it brought me back to life. And there's a documentary on Netflix, whoever's listening to this, you can watch, called Take Your Pills, that really tells the story of my Adderall odyssey in the NFL. I'm one of the main storylines in there. But Adderall was great at first because it lifted me up out of this fog and brought me back to life. And I remember being in the locker room, having taken Adderall, have a huge dip in tobacco in my cheek, and just talking with the guys, my teammates. And I remember thinking to myself, man, it would be super dope to have a job where I just talk to people all day. Like, that would be super fun to do.
Yeah.
So fast forward, I come out of my football career. I start writing first. I wrote an article for Sports Illustrated called "What Does It Take to Stay in the NFL?" talking about my experience dealing with injuries and the pill protocols and Adderall and cannabis and all the stuff, telling the truth of my experience. That led me into cannabis advocacy, going around the country from Harvard Medical School to UCLA, everywhere in between, talking about cannabis as medicine for football players dealing with concussions, as a remedy to heal really the number one issue facing the NFL, which is CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is early onset dementia, Alzheimer's, that is triggered by all of these subconcussive hits. And cannabis can really be the remedy for that. Federal government has a patent on cannabinoids as neuroprotectants and antioxidants, patent 6,630,507. They've seen through myriad research that the cannabinoids, the chemical compounds found in the cannabis plant, can help protect the brain before damage occurs, and can also help the brain heal once damage has occurred. So I was speaking on this. I got to know a whole community of guys: Kyle Turley, Ricky Williams, Nate Jackson, bunch of NFL, NHL, Olympians, UFC fighters, men and women. We formed an organization called Athletes for Care. I became really good friends with Nate Jackson, who is another former NFL guy. He played 6 years on the Broncos. He wrote an incredible book called Slow Getting Up. I highly recommend for anybody out there. He lived in Venice. I lived in the Valley here in LA. And something was just calling. I was like, I want to do a podcast. There's something here. We got to tell this story. We got to talk about this experience of the deconstruction of the football identity and the tools that we have available to us to reconfigure ourselves in life after sports. And I talked to Nate. I said, Nate, would you want to start a podcast? And he was like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. He had a buddy who was a sound tech wizard, Jed, and we started doing this podcast. It was first called the Mindful Warrior Podcast. And it was really us talking about the experience of leaving the NFL, talking about our time playing football, the injuries that we dealt with, the pill protocol, all the stuff. Um, and then how we started this healing process coming out of our careers and what that looked like. And we started to develop this community, and we'd have former athletes of all sizes, creeds, sports, genders reaching out to us saying, man, this is so dope. Like, you guys are telling this story that needs to be told. No one's talking about this experience of being a former athlete and what it's like to come out back into the real world and have no fucking tools whatsoever to live, the civilian life.
Yeah.
We've always had somebody doing everything for us in every various capacity of our lives, paying our bills, shopping for groceries to some extent or another. And it's a painful and difficult process when you come out of that life, and you have to very rapidly start taking care of yourself and getting on your feet and doing things that you've never done before. So that podcast turned into the Caveman Poet Society. There was a mindful warrior out there somewhere, and they they sent us a cease and desist, which is pretty funny. Maybe a testament to how successful the pod was that we actually got noticed to have somebody send us a cease and desist. So that turned into the Caveman Poet Society. Through that process, we're still doing the cannabis advocacy. At some point around 2017, I get a call from one of my former team doctors, and he says, Eb, I've been watching everything you're doing in cannabis. It's really amazing. It's really changed the way I treat the players here. Um, I'm not prescribing any painkillers anymore. I see how deadly and devastating those can be, and I'm really looking at CBD and cannabis as an alternative. He said, I've gotten to know the guys running Mike Tyson's cannabis company, and I want to introduce you to them because I think you'd have a lot to do together. So I said, oh, wow, great. Okay, cool. And at that time, I'd been bouncing around cannabis for a while, and I had no idea Mike Tyson even had a cannabis company. But so I get introduced to Mike's partner, and long story short, they bring me in as a consultant for the cannabis company to help to bring in sort of as an athlete advisor, bring in this athlete influence, connect them to whoever I can in the cannabis space. Um, but pretty quickly they say, Eb, we want to start Mike's podcast. Can you help us? I said, yeah, definitely. So I bring in Jed, the sound tech wizard, and pretty quickly we launch hotboxing with Mike Tyson, and everybody wants to come and hang out with Mike and smoke weed with Mike. And it was a really incredible journey because when I met Mike, he was still very much encased in his vices. He was in a really dark place when we met. And what was interesting, though, was his heart was still so huge and open, and he had so much humility. And the first time we met, he gave me a huge hug. And from day one, I just treated him as one of my brothers, as if, we had played football together our entire lives. And I think that was really what our relationship was, this soul brother connection. I didn't treat him as the demigod Mike Tyson, the Hercules of our time, which is what pretty much everybody treats him as. They put him on this pedestal. He's something to be sold and a commodity to be used. And I just didn't treat him that way. And from the beginning, our relationship was one of, it was this healing journey because I met him in this really dark place. Things were kind of rocky at first. The podcast was a little bit of a mess. Like, I'd really just have to drive these conversations, and Mike didn't really have a whole lot to say. And then when it really looked like it was all going to fall apart, I got a call one night, and Mike's partner said, Eb, this shaman is coming in tomorrow. He is a world renowned facilitator of Bufo alvarius, which is the toad, 5-MeO DMT. And we need you to help shepherd Mike through this process. We need you to convince Mike that he has to do this.
Wow. So
Like,
you showed him the toad
yeah, well, I was there with him when he did it, and
for the first time?
yeah,
Wow.
and I was the one who basically, for all intents and purposes, I made Mike feel safe enough to take the step to do it,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
helped him integrate as he went on this healing journey. So the shaman comes in, we do a podcast, talk about 5-MeO and the whole thing. And Mike's like in this kind of, he's kind of in a daze, and he's like, yeah, I want to do that shit. He's like thinking it's just like this other party drug, and he's like, I want to do it. You have it? And he's like, yeah, we could go in this room. We set this room up for you, Mike. And so they go in, and Mike's in there with the shaman, and it's just like lights are flickering, lightning's crashing, demons are being exorcised, the storm is swirling. It's fucking just like, what is happening here? People are pacing, like it's silent. You could hear a pin drop, and then the door opens, and Mike comes out, and it's like the clouds parted. All the darkness would just been dropped,
Hmm.
and he was glowing. And we came back in the studio. I was like, Mike, you're glowing, dude. How do you feel? He's like, I feel beautiful.
That's awesome.
And that was the beginning of this crazy journey, doing 100 episodes of Hotboxing, which was really an incredible experience. Which was really the narrative arc, was Mike on his healing process of coming to terms with himself and healing and letting go and releasing himself from a lot of shame and guilt that he held for, all the shit that he's been through in his life. I mean, the guy has experienced hellfire lows and mountainous highs beyond what most people could even imagine. And it was just a really beautiful experience. And for me, at that time in my post NFL career, I was going through a lot of healing, and I had come out of a couple ayahuasca journeys right before that toad experience. And so Mike and I got to learn and witness through Mike's healing, coming to terms with myself. And it was this really powerful exchange of healing and letting go and surrendering to, the truth of what is, which is that as long as we are carrying around the baggage of past mistakes, shame, guilt, all of our traumas, we're never going to be free to be who we truly are.
Yeah.
And life is this process of letting go over and over again and coming to terms with ourselves and settling into what is again and again. And so that was a big part of the podcasting journey. And then that ride sort of came to an end naturally. COVID happened. It all sort of fell apart. Sometime during 2020, I started the Eben Flow podcast. I had a lot of people going, Eb, you need to start your own podcast. And so I started the Eben Flow, and um, now I'm on season 3, done over 100 episodes, and it's been a lot of fun. I mean, podcasting to me is just such a powerful tool these days for getting a message out there in a very accessible way. So it's been very natural for me, just as far as, like I said, how I started this with. I've always been compelled to share my experience, share my truth, and to have, it's definitely one of the blessings of technology to be able to just get yourself a mic, get some headphones. We've got this little Scarlett 818 thing, 8i8 thing, and be able to record great conversations with great people, doing great work, spreading really important information um, in a time when people are desperate for a sense of well-being
Yeah, man.
and desperate for tools to come back to themselves, you know.
Hmm. Yeah. I've heard you say one time that your goal in this life is to show people the magnificence of their own life. Is that, would you say, is still your goal?
Absolutely, dude. That's my only goal. It's interesting, so I published my first book, The Ebb and Flow: Basic Tools to Transform Your Life. And I had a handful of people after I published it say to me, Eb, what are your goals? And I'm like, my goals, huh? I haven't thought about my goals in a long time. And without even thinking about it, it was outside of living a life that's anchored in love and joy. My only goal is to help other people be the greatest version of themselves.
Hmm.
And as you said, realize the magnificence of their humanity. And that's it, man.
Yeah.
You know?
That is love and joy.
Absolutely. That's it.
Yeah, man. It's so simple, yet it seems to be something that we just lose track of. Like, it's so easy to lose track of, but it really is so simple to just live in love, right? It's just like it's in front of us the whole time. It's hidden in
Yeah.
plain sight. But we just, through our narratives, through our head and the drama of our life, we just lose track of that. But, we luckily have tools like yoga, psychedelics, and whatever, the whole list goes on. But we have the tools that are necessary to be able to like reset into that mode of love and that flow of love. But why do we need that? Like, why, can't we just be on that wavelength at all times? It seems so simple.
It is. It's very simple. It's very simple. We love to make it really complicated.
Yeah.
Um, and today, with technology and social media and this, I guess part of the Western mindset with ambition and this idea of success being this external thing of making tons of money and having the car and having the house and
Materialism.
materialism, exactly. We are super distracted and we keep thinking that it's out there. We keep thinking that the happiness, the joy, the love,
Yeah.
it's out there.
Yeah.
And think about since we were little kids, all the movies, all the stories we've read and watched and seen and heard of love being this external thing.
Mm-hmm.
Love is something we find when we find that special person and then we feel love. It's like, no, man. No. We got to love ourselves, you know? And
Yeah.
that's we're told from a very young age that we're not good enough.
Yeah.
That we're
Right.
not good enough the way we are. And it takes a long time to come back to the fact that You're perfect just the way you are right here, right now. You don't have to do anything, don't have to go anywhere, don't have to be anything. Just
Mm-hmm.
be you and love every aspect of it. And then the trip becomes loving the critic too.
Yeah.
Loving that inner critic when you're in the thing and you want to be really hard on yourself and say, man, you're fucking, how'd you fuck that up? Ah, I love you too. I love you. That
Mm-hmm.
critic in there, I love that critic too.
Yeah. It's loving all aspects of our being.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it. It's super simple, but it seems so fucking saying that to someone who has no idea or who has never experienced that. They're like, the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's the thing, is like, how do you get people on that wavelength? I know it's not even up to us. It's not up to anybody else other
Right.
than the person, but it's like you want people to be on that wavelength. I want people to be on that wavelength just because, for the simple reason that it gives me more happiness, I guess, more peace in my own life to be able to say that I love myself, right? It sounds corny and cliche, but nah, man, that's the truth of life, bro. You're supposed to love yourself, but
Hmm.
we live in a society that just doesn't, which is a mind grasp that maybe this will make me happy, maybe her, or maybe him, maybe this car, maybe this
Mm.
house, maybe these clothes. But nah,
Yep.
man, it comes from in here. So how would you say, or how did you at least get on that wavelength of truly loving yourself?
Mm. Well, it's a daily practice. That's
Mm,
why I wrote my book, The Eben Flow, Basic Tools to Transform Your Life. It's super basic. You got to come back to the basics. You got to come back to the roots, man.
yeah,
Meditation, prayer, movement, nutrition, nature, plant medicine, flexibility of the mind. So, creating a routine for yourself and being disciplined about your routine, but not making your routine your end all be all, if that makes sense. Also, we can talk about that more in a second. Um, Meditation is, for me, has been the most transformative tool of my entire life. Anything
hmm,
and everything I've done, meditation is beyond. It's the ultimate integrative practice. It's the ultimate practice of letting go, surrendering, shedding the bullshit, shedding the skins. Because in meditation, we can get quiet and we can get into the reality of what is. We can get into the truth of our lives and we can feel it without the attachment of the mind, without the attachment of our identity, of who we think we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to be doing it and all the shit. We can get beneath all of that into that infinite, eternal stillness that resides deep inside. That's beyond the thoughts, it's beyond the feelings, it's beyond
yeah,
the sensations. Prayer and affirmation. Your mind is the most magnificent computer the universe has ever manifested. Your mind is built to analyze, diagnose, keep you alive, help you survive, figure out problems, find solutions. Although the problem with the mind is it can only function within what it knows, and it can only function within rational and logical boundaries, borders. So, why prayer and affirmation? Now, I'm not a religious person, I'm a deeply spiritual person. And I believe it serves us to form some sort of connection with a higher power, whatever that might be. Call it whatever you want, God, the universe, spirit, whatever it is. I don't know how you could go through life at this stage in the game without recognizing that there is a higher intelligence, a higher energy force
yeah,
source that moves through everything. So connect to that, whatever that is for you. Doesn't have to be any God in particular. Just connect to something. Understand that there is a higher power, and pray to that. And if you're not interested in praying, affirm to that. And why that's so important is because our mind functions on old programming. And a lot of the old programming that it functions on, we were not even conscious of that programming being put in
Yep.
and programmed into us. That's our parents, that's our teachers, that's all the authority figures we've ever come into contact with. That's our culture, that's our religion, that's all of these external forces that imprinted their ideas and beliefs on what's possible and impossible on our psyche. And that affects our perception of the world. And so when you pray and you affirm and you start to reprogram the mind, you start to reprogram the belief system. And when you reprogram the belief system and you reprogram the mind, you reprogram the subconscious. And that changes how you view the world. It changes how you view yourself. It changes your relationship to yourself and the world around you. So that's really important. It's really important to pay attention to what you eat. There's a lot of shit out there, you
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
for better or worse, whether it's intentional or not, whether it's simply a matter of big food, the corporatization of food to make a buck, to increase profit margins. There are fucking chemicals in food that no one should be consuming. Sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, dyes, synthetic shit, chemicals shouldn't be in your body. It fucks up your neurochemistry, fucks up your nervous system, it fucks up your gut health. It literally destroys your system.
Yep.
And that creates a fog, it creates a barrier between you and your experience of life. So being very mindful about what you eat. I don't believe that there's any one particular diet. You should eat real food, eat whole
Yeah.
foods, eat meat, eat vegetables, eat fruit, eat honey, eat things that come from the earth, that grow out of the ground, that are harvested from animals. That's the food that you should eat. Stay away from processed shit.
Mm-hmm. Least amount of ingredients as possible. That's what I like to say.
I love that. That's another great way to put it. Move your body. This body was built to move. Move it. You don't have to be a fucking bodybuilder. You don't have to be an Olympic athlete. You don't have to be an NFL player. You don't need to be running sprints. Literally just get outside, get out into nature, get out into fresh air, into sunlight, breathe deeply, move your body, go for long walks, stretch, do push-ups, do yoga, lift weights, play basketball, do whatever it is that you feel compelled to do, but just move your body. Get out and move the fucking body.
Yeah.
If you can get a sweat, even better, because that's how your body detoxifies itself, is through sweating. Drink plenty of water. Drink plenty of clean, high quality water as you possibly can. The range of that, is from like here to Mars. Like you can go as crazy as you want getting super high quality water. I think just spring water is great. Filter your tap water through a charcoal filter. That gets rid of 98% of the garbage that comes through the tap. Really important to drink plenty of water. And then do the things that fill you up. Do the things that make you feel connected. For me, that's in the morning. My morning routine is paramount to setting myself up to be in my highest greatness every single day. And what I do is I wake up in the morning, I drink 2 big ass glasses of water. I'll add lemon and salt to that. Lemon and salt are great for your adrenal function, great for your digestive system, getting your stomach, your digestive juices rolling, clearing out your intestines, waking up your kidney, your liver, all that stuff. Drink a couple big glasses of water. I go outside. I do my breath work, about 15 to 20 minutes of breath work. I do some light stretching. Depending on the day, I might hit 100 push-ups, or I've got this thing called an X3 bar. I might get a quick workout in there, and then I'm ready to roll. I'll do my 20 minutes of meditation, and basically whatever's happening out after that first hour and 20 minutes of my day, I'm ready to meet it in the best shape possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink any alcohol anymore. I used to drink gallons and gallons of alcohol, literally. I mean, through my NFL career, it was bad, like way too much alcohol. I've drank enough alcohol for many lifetimes. I don't drink alcohol anymore. It doesn't serve me. And I don't have any time to wake up every day and have to battle anything outside of what I'm already dealing with, exercising.
Yeah.
I don't need to be hungover. I need to wake up every single day and be the best version of myself I can possibly be. That's how I'm in service to myself first, and then my family, my community, the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very simple, man. You know, we're in this weird time. I've been really struggling with it, honestly, because you go on Instagram and literally every fucking person is like a guru, a life coach, a wellness fucking
Yeah.
genius. Everybody has the answers. It's do this, it's do that. If you don't do this, you're not doing it right. You got to wear Lululemon or Aloe or, fucking Vuori. If you're not at the beach doing yoga with the professional photographer, are you actually doing anything in life?
Right.
And, you know, that's cool. But what really matters is how you are when you're out in the world doing the fucking mundane things.
Yeah.
Are you a positive influence on the world around you every fucking moment? It's easy to be the guru, joyous, loving person at the fucking superstar event, at the wellness event with all the, hip, happy, healthy people.
Yeah.
How are you when you're walking down downtown Los Angeles and the streets are riddled with homeless people who have completely lost hope? Can you be the beam of light there?
So true, man.
That's what fucking matters.
Honestly.
That's what fucking matters right now. It's really cute to be the Instagram influencer yoga person, really cute, who does ayahuasca every weekend in Topanga, whatever the fuck you do. Great, great, do it. But when you step out into the real world on the sidewalk and there's like hopelessness and darkness, can you meet that with the same joy and love that you're meeting your hipster friends with when you take your trips to Austin? That's what matters, dude.
Yeah. That's the real
So
test.
I don't, it doesn't matter to me what you do, honestly. It doesn't matter to me what you do. My book is an offering of practices that cut the bullshit out. And it's about coming into what the fuck works for you, man. What works for you every day when you wake up in the morning? How do you tap into you, connect to yourself so that you can be the greatest version of yourself you can possibly be out in the world? Because that's all that matters. Can you be of service to the world around you
Yeah.
without depleting yourself? That's really what it means. If that's breath work, great. If that's meditation, great. If that's yoga, great. If it's none of those things and it's literally waking up, having a cup of coffee, taking your dog on a walk, and fucking starting your day, awesome. Do it. Do the things that connect you to your source, which is you. Your source is in here, connects you to your heart, and then go out into the world and be the fucking light that you were destined to be. And
Well
that's not
said.
everybody either. A lot of people, there's an incredible book called Right Use of Will. I don't know. Have you ever come across it?
No, I never heard of it.
Check out this book, man. Right Use of Will. It's a channeled text by a woman named Cian de Rohan. And it talks about the two concepts or the two things that have riddled the world with chaos and destruction are judgment and denial.
Hmm.
And how do we, because we've been out of alignment with divine will, and how do we get into alignment with divine will? Because you are an aspect of God, you are God incarnate. And so, how do you live your life as a particle of God moving through your life in divine will, which is your purpose, without judgment of self, without judgment of others? And how do we do that? And, one of the things she talks about in there is that not everyone is here for good.
Hmm.
We have darkness and light, there's positive and negative. So,
Yeah.
in that, there are people here on this planet who are charged, call it charged, in a way that they're not here to be a light.
Yeah.
They're here to hold a place of darkness. Okay, fine.
But are they still a particle of God?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
You know, that's the
Hmm.
ultimate, dude.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate. Can you love your enemy?
Hmm. That's what Jesus said.
That's it, dude. Jesus wasn't fucking around.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus literally put himself on the cross because he knew that by doing that, he liberated the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said, look at what's possible. This is what's possible.
Yep. Forgive them, Father, for they do not know.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. That's the tough part.
That's
To
the
love.
ultimate.
Yeah, man. To love evil. To know that's also a part of God. Yeah.
That's a fucking serious, that's the serious work right there, man.
Yeah.
You know? And it ain't easy. It ain't easy.
No. And that's why we do work on ourselves.
That's it. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like you said it earlier, we can't make anybody do anything. We
Mm-hmm.
can't make anybody do anything. We can't heal anybody. The greatest healers in the world know that it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you being a healer. All you are is a conduit to allow other people the space to heal themselves.
Yep.
That's what Jesus did. He
Mm-hmm.
was so clean, he was so healed, he was so loving that when he just walked into a place, he fucking healed people
Yeah.
because they felt that and they allowed themselves. He allowed them the space to heal themselves. That's
Yeah.
what he did. And that's the key, man. We got to heal ourselves. You heal yourself, you heal the world.
Yeah. I think that's what's going on right now. That's the new paradigm that we're moving toward. It's like the shamanic path, a collective
Yeah.
shamanism in a way, the collective personal guruship in a way.
Yes. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And you see it, man. You see it. I see a lot of light in the world, dude. As
Yeah.
dark and fucking chaotic and crazy as it is right now, I see a lot of light, dude. Because I
Yeah.
see a lot of people coming into themselves. I see a lot of people stepping up. I see a lot of people doing real deep work, healing themselves, coming into the light.
Mm-hmm. Because that darkness is the other side of the polarity. It's this dark. You can't have the light without the darkness. So I think the darkness is almost needed at this point in time to be able to shed light upon our true selves.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude.
That's another tough pill to swallow, like swallowing the darkness of the world, but to know that it's also it's part of the plan, you know, it's part of God's plan, I guess if you want to say. It's part of this unfolding process that we seem to be going through. You know?
Yeah. Have you read this book, Conversations with God?
No, I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't heard it. I haven't read it.
Ugh. Neil Donald Walsh, man, he fucking goes all the way in.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And it's this guy, Neil Donald Walsh. He was, I don't know, he's probably in his 40s, I'm assuming. He had a family, a wife. He was doing the thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He was living his life, working his ass off, had some sort of spiritual practice, but he sat down one day. He had a journaling practice clearly because it was part of his daily thing. And he was just at the fucking end. He was at the end of his rope. And he started writing. And he was really fucking pissed off. And he just started writing to God. He was like, why the fuck is my life like this? What is going on? How could this possibly be? If you exist, what the fuck is this? And he was about to throw his pen, and some energy just kept his hand at his pen on the paper. And he just started writing. And it was just God came through.
Mm.
And when you read it, you know this voice. You know it
It was
because
like a
it's in you.
channeling.
Yes. And it was that voice that we've all heard. We all have this voice inside of us. We all have this perspective. It's our highest self. It's God.
Mm.
It's our source. And it just came through. And it's humorous and it's real and it's true. And it's like, hey, man, if that's what you think, that's how it is, over and over again.
Mm.
And God's like, I don't make these, I don't fucking decide anything. Everything and anything is open here. I created it all. It's
Yeah.
on you. What do you believe? What do you think?
Yeah.
And it takes you right into that fucking source material, man. Because you know what it is. Every one of us has been in contact with it. It's just our programming and our conditioning that goes, nah, no, I can't do that. No, it's not that because it has to be this,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's a powerful book. I highly recommend it for anyone who's on the spiritual train, who's doing the deep work, connecting with a higher power, interested in the unseen realms of life. I highly recommend Conversations with God. It's a game changer, man. Because at the end of the day, Gary, it's fucking right here, bro.
Yeah.
It's here.
Mm-hmm.
It's nowhere else. You're not going to go anywhere. I've been in this fucking really weird trip, dude. I've been on this spiritual process for a while now. My whole life, really. But it's really taken off since leaving the NFL. I created the space in my life, leaving football, to focus, to surrender my entire life to God. And it's always been that way. But there's been my human little small self always getting in the way, always throwing the doubt, my ego lacing it with fear. Oh, Ed, we can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But just surrendering it all to God. And even in that, man, every day, meditating for the last fucking 8 years, every single day, doing deep work, plant medicine, therapy, 12-step programs, getting clean, polishing the crystal, as Swami Vivekananda said, getting clearer and clearer, clearing my perception so that I could be with what is.
Yeah.
And even now, man, even now, I'm having the revelation like, I don't even have to go anywhere. I don't have to
Right.
do anything. I was thinking for a minute, man, I got to move to Austin. Man, there's all this shit happening out there in the world. I got to be with that. And then literally in the last few days, I'm like, the fuck do I have to go anywhere?
Mm-hmm.
It's all right here.
Be here now, man.
This is it. This is all I have. This is here and now, right here and right now. And everything is here.
Yeah.
And when I surrender into that, I've spent the last like 7 years of my life. Every decision I've made is like this desperate attempt to make money.
Mm.
And in doing that, in living my life in that way, money's always just like, it's like right there. If I
Yeah.
work harder, man. And then I stopped. I just stopped. Literally like 2 days ago. I came to the realization, Eb, you know what? I got to take a break from my podcast. I got to take a break. I take a break. I'm fucking burned out every time I sit down at the computer to, record another intro, do all the show notes. You know how it is. It's a fucking grind.
Mm-hmm.
This beautiful thing that we have right here, this incredible conversation rolling, this is like 10% of a podcast.
Yeah.
The other 90%, booking guests, scheduling guests, reaching out to people. Then you got to fucking upload the recordings.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Production.
to do the intro. You got to do the shit. You got to write the show notes.
Yeah.
This is like 10% of it, which I love. I love this. I love this shit. This is what I love doing, connecting with people. But I'm like, I'm burned out, dude. I've done fucking 900 episodes of shows. I
Yeah.
need a break. I haven't taken a break in 34 years.
Mm.
Okay, I'll take a break. And all of a sudden, it's like coaching clients. Boom. Eb, I want to buy a package of sessions. Eb, I want to double your time. Eb, I want you to teach yoga. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens. We let go of things. For me, I was talking to this person yesterday. For me, what happens, I come to this place where I'm confronted by this wall. It's this 1,000-foot wall. I can't get over it. I can't get around it. I can't go through it. There's nowhere to go. I'm like crawling, trying to get up the fucking wall, trying to get around it, get over it, do anything I can. I'm like, fuck. And then all of a sudden I go, oh, there is no wall.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yeah.
have to let it go. Time has come. That's okay. We don't have to do everything forever. Nothing lasts forever anyway.
Yeah.
And if you're willing, if you surrender your fucking life to God, that's what happens.
Mm.
It just keeps evolving. It just keeps growing.
Yeah.
And I love doing the podcast. It's just I need a little bit of a break. I'll do it once or twice a month probably and keep it going, but I need a little break from the fucking grind.
Yeah, man. I feel you.
Anyway, man, I'm ranting.
I feel you though. Oh man.
You know how it is, dude. You've done a
Yeah.
shitload.
Yeah. It's definitely the grind. I
It's
don't
a
know.
grind.
Yeah. I like it though. I don't know.
Oh, it's the best. I love it, man. I mean, is there anything for me, there's no other way. I couldn't be working some corporate job, some 9 to 5. I couldn't do it. I would fucking lose my mind.
Yeah.
I'm way too powerful of a presence because eventually I'll end up really resentful and negative, and I'm coming into the building every day with that energy, and I'm infecting everyone in the building with that fucking resentment and anger.
Yeah.
And that's not good for anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I started a CBD company when I came out of football, and I got into cannabis advocacy, and I love cannabis. The plant is so powerful, and even my relationship with cannabis has greatly evolved over the years to where, I mean, I was a wake and bake guy for a long time. Wake up, smoke weed all day. It was great. I love it. Made me feel really warm and cozy and
Mm-hmm.
safe and calm and chill. And then all of a sudden it was like, I have a fucking wisp too much. And I'm blasted out to fucking Saturn.
Yeah, same with
And I
me.
gotta I gotta spend the next 2 hours bringing myself back down to earth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I can't really use cannabis that way. But so I got into cannabis advocacy and I started the CBD company because I wanted to create something that was accessible to everyone, that could educate people on the power of the medicine, what this plant has to offer. And I wanted to create something that everybody could use. So I started this CBD company. And for me, this is like a mission from God. This is spreading awareness about a powerful ancient medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And the people I got involved with, they were, God bless them, they were just looking at it as getting in on this booming industry. They're like making a buck,
Yeah,
you
that's the
know?
majority of people in the cannabis industry, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. That's 99% of them.
Yeah.
And I found myself doing that, dude. Every day I'd come into the office and all of a sudden I was like a little more angry every day. I was like
Mm.
fucking resentful. And I would be like, man, who is this? I don't need to do this. This doesn't do anybody any good. This doesn't do me any good. Doesn't do these people any good. Doesn't do this company any good. I'm not serving anyone if I'm coming in here every day in a shitty mood,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Then why are we doing that? And
Money,
how many
man.
people are doing that?
Vast majority of human beings.
Right? So many people are going through their life going, I have to go.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go, even though I fucking hate it. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing in your life that you have to do. What do you want to do?
Yeah. That's what it is.
Do
Yeah.
that.
Mm. We all know what we want to do or what we have to do deep down, like what
Yeah.
the source tells us we have to do. It's just this, it's a very long process of deconditioning from our
Yeah.
conditionings of the past to be able to find that within ourselves. And it all stems from love. Like, how do you, and it all stems from being a servant too. Like, how do I, from the best of my ability and my circumstances and the talents that I was given, how do I best serve humanity essentially while also serving myself at the same time and serving my own sanctity within.
Yeah.
It's a dance, man. It's a dance back and forth, you know. And I think that's the process of spirituality, at least in the 21st century. It's like, how do you navigate this crazy landscape that we've built up while at the same time staying sane, and at the same time as that helping others? It's a messy process for sure.
Totally. Super messy.
Yeah,
You
man.
got to be okay with that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
That's
not
a
going to be perfect.
Yeah, that's another aspect of the surrender is you just surrender to that messiness of the 21st century lifestyle in the Western world. Because
Amen, brother.
it's hard to swallow that pill, you know, to get on the spiritual path, quote unquote, and you read all these ancient texts about self-realization, and then you have to go to the office on a Monday morning, you know, and you have to get up early, put on your suit and tie while you just did some 5 MEO over the weekend, and then you got to go back to work on Monday. It's like it's this weird, we're living in this weird it's like it's a transitioning period, you know, where we're still caught in the old ways in the physical world, but we know that there's this other layer of our being that is way deeper than the current paradigm that CNN will tell you or that TikTok will tell you, you know. And this
Mm-hmm.
is the transition period between the two, and that's why it's messy. I like to say this is the time of like humanity's puberty period, where it gets like really
Mm,
messy, and we're growing into the being that we're supposed to be, but it's a little bit of a bumpy road at this point in time, you know?
definitely, dude. I love what you said there. I love what you said there. And to me, that is what we're moving into. And my gripe with the influencer gurus, it's like, man, This is what we're doing. This is why we do the work. It's what Ram Dass talks about. It's what all the greats talk about. Can you bring the presence into the mundane?
Yeah.
Can you come with that clarity, that heart-centered living, and go to your job? I believe we can. You don't have to be a fucking monk up in a fucking cave or a temple in the Himalayas chanting and meditating all day. That to me is not necessarily the true spiritual path. The true spiritual path is coming into the fucking fire and being totally centered,
Yeah.
non-reactionary, unattached, confronting every single thing being with that love,
Mm-hmm.
with that centeredness. Ah,
Mm-hmm.
that's some shit, dude.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's
the
where we're
truth.
moving. That's where we're moving right there.
Yeah.
All of that deep realization that you had on the fucking trip with the toad or fucking with Mama Aya, whatever it is. Can you come in now? Come back into the real world, dude?
Mm.
Yes. Now we're talking. Now we're talking, dude. That's what it is. That's what we're meant to do.
Exactly.
Because we're not meant to be isolated. We're meant to be together. And when we're together, shit happens. It gets weird, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this thing because, like you said, you know Paul Check?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Love Paul.
Yeah,
Paul
he's
said
awesome.
that too. Paul has said that thing of we're in the puberty phase or we're in this adolescent period
Mm-hmm.
where we're really whiny and gripey and you know
Yeah.
and it's uncomfortable and it's transitionary um and uh shit, why was I saying that?
We're going toward a new paradigm.
Yes, yes, fuck,
It happens.
I know I lost it, dude.
It wasn't meant to be.
I
But yeah, man.
lost it.
That's where we're
um
going.
yeah, that's where we're at, dude.
That's the true
That's
test.
where we're at. And it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Can we be Oh, this is what I was going to say. A lot of us want to spend time in that victim state, you
Yeah.
know? Well, they got to do this. When they do X, Y, or Z, then I'll be better. Then it'll be better, all that. And even in our one-on-one interactions with our family, our friends, people we see at the store, out in the world, whatever, wherever it is we go, the onus right now, the onus is on those of us who have come a little farther, who are a little bit more anchored into the love. The onus is on us until we got to hold the line until everybody comes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's the Bodhisattva.
We got to hold the line, dude.
Yeah,
So
man.
when you're at the gas station or you're driving in your car or you're fucking out wherever and somebody's being an asshole and you have the presence to come at it with more compassion, to not add more chaos, the onus is on you to hold the fucking line.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hold the line so that that person, because when you allow a person the dignity of their own experience, when you allow a person to be the asshole or to be the angry person or to experience their grief or whatever it is they're going through, when you allow a person to feel and experience that in and of itself without contributing to the chaos of the situation, you give them an opportunity to be reflected with their darkness.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because when you react, when you go, hey man, fuck you, or hey, fuck that, why'd you do that, or whatever it is, now you become the focus of their thing. Oh, well, that person was being the asshole. It's like, no, dude, you were being the asshole and they reacted to you. And now we've lost that opportunity to grow, to get a
Hmm.
little cleaner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And so
And
the onus is on those of us who have had the realizations, who are a little bit connected deeper to self. This isn't some spiritual high horse thing of like, I'm better than you. Any of us are, no one is better than anyone. We are all in it together. And those of us who have come a little bit farther down the road of unraveling our shit and coming to terms with ourselves, the onus is on us to hold the line for those who are coming up behind us.
hmm, I like that. Yeah. It's our responsibility to choose love.
Amen, dude.
It's like
Amen.
a it's like a transmission, you know? You can either transmit fear in certain situations and circumstances, or you can transmit love.
Yes, those are the two pillars, man.
Yeah. Doesn't it
I
seem like that?
what?
That love is this it's like this it's like this energetic transmission that you can have inside of yourself and you almost pass on. It's like this virus that you pass
Yeah,
on to others. And it's just like there's some people that have a lot of it, like say Ram Dass or something, and you can like feel it through space and time. You can see it on video or just read his words, and you feel
yeah,
just the love emanating. And it's just like it's this timeless transmission that you can just feel, man. And it's just like
yeah,
so powerful. It's God, essentially. And that's why it's so
absolutely.
powerful. And
Yeah.
it's like I don't know, it's only like select individuals. I wouldn't say select, but it seems like at this point, it seems like only select individuals are able to be able to imbue the love and then to also to transmit it, or at least there seems to be levels to love. You know what I mean? Like there's
Oh
some people
yeah.
that are just like born in it and they're there, like Maharaji, Neem Karoli Baba. I
Yeah.
guess supposedly he was just this he
Unbelievable.
he was just love, right? Incarnate. And I think we're all definitely capable of being on that, but we just, like you said, get back to it. We have to decondition ourselves to condition ourselves to love. And man, it's like, why is it so hard? I said that in the beginning, but why why is that so hard? It's here. It's here right now to be able um to to be that and to share that responsibility together. Like it's so simple. It really is. Like you said, if somebody cuts you off in traffic, you don't flip them off. Or just somebody says some nasty shit to you, you just say, that's how you feel. Or, just simple stuff like that. It's just our reactions to things. It's really not up to anybody else, and it's not up to the external environment. It's really up to us to choose what kind of reaction we want to have within
Hmm.
ourselves. And
Hmm.
that's where love starts. That's where it emanates. It's like no matter what happens on the external, in this craziness of life, in this movie of life, no matter what, you're gonna choose whatever happens. And life's gonna throw you curveballs.
Mm.
No matter what, there's always gonna be something. Just when you think you got it figured out, like I am this, spiritual being, I am this guru, look at me. I'm so pure, I'm so perfect. Then all of a sudden the universe would just throw you something and just like, oh shit, okay, and back down to
Square one.
square one. Exactly, bro. And that's the dance. That's spirituality, honestly, right there. I see it,
Absolutely.
but it's like,
Isn't it?
go ahead.
No, I love what you said. Isn't it amazing? I mean, like Ram Dass and even Neem Karoli, like guys we never met. I have dreams about Neem Karoli, dude.
Really? I did the other night.
Yeah, he comes to me in dreams. He comes to me all the time, and it's like he is this emanation of love. He's just pure love. And
Yeah.
I do a lot of hot yoga.
Mm-hmm.
and to me it's the ultimate practice, because especially when at the studio I teach at, it's so fucking hot. It's so hot, dude. And it's like seven times out of 10, I'm obliterated to the point where I'm thinking to myself, it would be easier to die than
Mm.
to do this. And my practice becomes, can I just bring loving awareness into every fucking moment of this? And what's so incredible is that love is just this ultimate fucking obliterator, dude.
Yeah, I like that.
You'll be in so much suffering. You're so hot. You feel like you're just going to explode. And I just come into my mind. I'm like, I love this. I love you. I love myself that is in so much deep pain right now. And it just like washes it away. I don't even know what to say. It just washes it away. And all of a sudden, it's like, I just love it. And I'm in bliss. And it's not easy at all. It's a constant thing of making a decision. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you said, it's making a decision. I'm making a decision that love is more important.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's it.
It's not some fucking mystical thing. Honestly, it doesn't have, it doesn't, you don't have to fucking go and do the ceremonies, You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. Just make a decision that love is more important. That's a hard thing.
Yeah,
We
man.
really want to be in the we really want to hold on to our anger and our righteousness.
Mm. Why do you think?
That's the ego, man.
Yeah.
That's how powerful the mind is. We want it to be somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
We want it to be, we want to make ourselves feel better that it's not working because of somebody else or some circumstance or something that's beyond our control. We want to make it the reason why we can't be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's it. It's easier to do that than to say, I love me and all of my fucking defects and all of my weaknesses and all of my blind spots. I love myself. And what's amazing, dude, is when you do that and you surrender to that completely, fuck, you're infinite.
Mm-hmm.
You got more power than you could ever imagine.
That's powerful stuff, man. It's
Fucking A,
true.
dude. Fucking A, Gary.
Yeah, man. Choose love. That's it.
That's it, dude. That's it.
Oh man.
I would never have thought that after my football career, I'd be doing podcasts where the end message is choose love, guys.
Life is a funny thing, man.
It is, dude.
Who,
It's a
who knows
trip.
what's next?
Oh my God. I can't even imagine. It just gets
It
better and better, honestly. Life is a miracle, man.
really is. Yeah.
Life is an absolute miracle. It's such a blessing to be here, you
Yep.
know?
And all its ups and downs.
It's just an absolute blessing to be here.
Yeah, man.
And yeah.
Well, I'm glad I'm here with you and I got to share this moment with you and with the listener. And yeah, do you have any closing words before we wrap this thing up?
I think we said it all, Gary. I really appreciate you, man. You guys can check out my book, The Eben Flow, Basic Tools to Transform Your Life. It's on Amazon. Audiobook is coming soon. I'm currently recording that. Um, the Eben Flow podcast got a lot of good episodes. That's available on all podcast platforms. Um, check me out on Instagram, TikTok. If you just search my name, Eben Britton, you'll find me. And Gary, I can't thank you enough, brother. I love the work that you're doing. Keep doing it. You're an awesome individual, and I appreciate your time, man.
Same to you, man. One love. Namaste.
One love, brother. Namaste.
Peace out.